Alrighty, that's the fake sun, and that is stalking by the Ontario Police, who did the same thing at 12:32 p.m. That is 12:52 p.m. at 1841 East G Street, flying over my head in concert with San Bernardino County, targeting with the Ontario Fire Department, and targeting is the pattern of conduct. It's currently 9:15 a.m. and doing so while I'm conversing with the people of the state, all right? While they're monitoring me, and the entity engages in that method of psychological torture while you're being gang stalked by the people who are in your presence, in concert with the gang stalking police department, okay? The entity is doing so pursuant to what is the conspiracy to murder. So they're stalking in a helicopter, engaging in what is ongoing documented harassment and domestic terrorism, psychological torture. That's a significance. And they are literally engaging in the elements of monitoring. They are crossing path in a helicopter. They're creating audible activity in doing so. They're doing it in the engineer light, in concert with the demons that are surrounding on the grounds. And that is including on the roads and the highways under a fake sun that's nowhere over 1841 East G Street, where I documented that fake sun over me. Remember, at 10:13 a.m., the entity is both over the Ontario Town Square, stalking in helicopter on August 21st, 2025, flying in circles over me, targeting me. There's no sun that's going to be over 1841 East G Street over my room, where I'm documenting room 326. All right, facing the direction south. This is the entity that is stalking, that is proven to be stalking, and this is Mike LORENZ's open declaration of being a domestic terrorist leader, an open declaration of being a violent sex offender, an open declaration of co-conspiring to murder with Tracy Banks, with the people of the state, stealing property through gang stalking of a corrupt government, including the Ontario Police Department. This is Mike LORENZ's open declaration, and it is going to be at the forefront of the prosecution of the state of California. Engaging in stalking by helicopter is the most foolish thing that this police department can still do, and that's because they are severely mentally ill. And the mental illness of the entity that is stalking as a police department is at the forefront of the prosecution of that entirety of that entity. It is currently 9:17, and the entity's not going anywhere in helicopter. That's also evidence of stalking. The entity sounding helicopter activity while they're remaining lingering, stalking me. That's pacing back and forth. The entity is sounding helicopter activity while the demons are monitoring in concert, okay? Doing so with the demon possessed who are engaging what is presence in my path, talking about good morning, having a chit chat with you. They're monitoring. You don't have any friends when you're in this specific environment. That's exactly what Tracy Banks represents. You don't have any family. That's what Jason Isaac Fields represents. You don't have any friends. The entity's engaging in what is targeting you with the gang stalkers who are engaging in what is a pattern of kidnapping. All right, this is P.O.C. The entity that was gang stalking at 731 South Euclid Avenue, the 7-Eleven, this is the same department stalking in helicopter the next morning. This is P.O.C. They're going to federal prison. That was a white woman and a white male stalking with the gang stalking immigrants in this country, showing the domestic enemy that they are to the United States. The Ontario gang stalking as an American citizen and they don't have a disdain for the Constitution and engage in what is lawful conduct. Their disdain is for being exposed for criminal activity that they are showing they fully intend to continue. But they're not going to, and they're going to be disbanded. And every gang stalker of the Ontario Police that have engaged in stalking me in furtherance of murder, bearing weapons and a badge and doing so, they're going to federal prison. This is 224 North Euclid Avenue. That's 215 East C Street, where the Ontario Police are stalking after 2 p.m. after the fake sun is remaining yesterday over 1841 East G Street. Ontario Fire Department is stalking. FedEx is stalking. Vector is stalking. Amazon Prime is stalking. The entity is stalking by establishment, Sheraton, 111 North Vineyard Avenue. Starbucks is stalking while the fake sun is remaining over me off of G Street and Vineyard. And this morning, before what is even 8 a.m., the entity is keeping the fake sun over the Ontario Town Square, where the Ontario Police Department are demon-possessed gang stalkers, doing so in furtherance of murder, gang stalking and criminally defaming with San Bernardino County, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, the entity that's engaging in what is kidnapping as an entity in furtherance of what is trying to manufacture mental illness, and the entity is going to be assigned actual mental illness while they're prosecuted. This is P.O.C. All right, this is evidence of not only in the environment, but by the maintenance of what is helicopter activity. This is the entity that engages in that, and that's what they were doing at 1841 East G Street yesterday, stalking, while monitoring the evidence and engaging in what is more stalking. And this is what is putting a wealth of people in federal prison. All right, that's P.O.C. This is the entity that's targeting, as I'm documenting license plates on the podcast, as I'm documenting Wells Fargo, the Ontario Downtown Luxury Apartments, the 280 North Limit Apartments, Metro 102 Apartments, Omnitrans, the Mule Cart. They're all gang stalking. This is all the P.O.C. The entity is maintaining the fake son in an environment where you're recognizing the P.O.C. So I want to be clear, Ramada by Wyndham is a sex offender, a gang stalking third-party innkeeper, and that's the federal RICO case against the people of the state that are monitoring with the government that has a bunch of imbeciles that provide criminal evidence against that entire entity because they don't understand how a criminal conspiracy that is already proven is going to be prosecuted in a federal court. This is P.O.C. It is 9:20 a.m. where the fake son followed from Economy Inn this morning, followed on Omnitrans on Route 83, followed yesterday from what is Vineyard Avenue and G Street. And that's Ontario police that are following, by the way. That is stalking and surveillance and psychological torture using helicopters, which the entity utilizes to engage in what is psychological torture, a program, an unabated program of psychological torture. This is demonic also, P.O.C. This is demonic pacing. This is what the people of our state are doing as a group, and they're flying beside the fake son. This is what they were doing at 12 in the afternoon, flying beside the fake son. You're looking at the body of evidence of demon possession exhibited by Mike LORENZ, conspiring with Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, conspiring to steal from an American citizen. Gang stalking an American citizen will never result in the diagnosis of mental illness. That's not the practice of medicine. It is the corrupt practices of a targeting entity, and that entity is going to result in what is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department, who are exhibiting severe mental illness, while not only gang stalking, but doing so while the world is watching how domestic terrorism is executed in the United States. This is criminal monitoring as well. All right, they're all doing so, and the Ontario Police Department is serving to prosecute its own co-defendants. These are the imbeciles that are demon-possessed gang stalkers. P.O.C. The fake son's still here, as I documented August 17th, after 6 p.m. at the Ontario Town Square. The fake son's remaining yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, over me. In the same manner, the fake son's over me in a different location at 1841 East G Street. The Ontario police are flying next to the fake son, both at 9 o'clock in the morning and at what is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They're stalking me under a fake son. They're demons.